You know, when I have time, when I'm on my lunch, I'm going to get this off my chest. You know, people like myself and many people that work in retail, whether it's supermarkets, super centers, global markets, doesn't matter. Neighborhood markets, mom and pop markets, it doesn't matter. You see, what some people have to understand, folks, is we go in there as employees, associates, customer service people. We go in there and we bust our butts for those stores. We go in there, we bust our butts for those stores, and what do we get in return? Do we get respect? Perhaps. Perhaps from some higher ups and other people, we get respect. But what about those higher up from them? What about those that shop in the store? Where's the respect sometimes? It's not there. See, I understand stores sometimes get so busy that they need certain people on certain days, even if those people have requested those days off. I can understand and respect the fact that they can get busy, stores can get busy, and that sometimes what happens is beyond their control. But you know what? There's one thing a lot of associates, employees, customer service people working at these companies will agree on. There's one thing that they will agree on, folks. And that is the fact that it's time for stores, super centers, super malls, supermarkets, doesn't matter. It's time for a lot of these stores to get organized. It's time for a lot of these stores to shape up and realize that the only way they're going to survive against each other is to be organized. Even when it's a busy day, even when you know that day is going to be problematic, you need to be organized. You need to make sure, like, oh, it's Friday night. Let's make sure we have every base covered so everything goes at ease. You know, one thing that I've said many times to myself, one thing I've acknowledged, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not afraid to admit it, folks. One thing I've come to acknowledge to myself, and I'm sure anybody that works with me, anybody who works at other retail stores would agree on. Sometimes I think stores need to get focused, need to take focal groups. They need to research and understand exactly when they need to have all bases covered. Like tonight, Pacquiao Mayweather. A lot of the people shopping today and last night are getting ready for that fight. Are getting ready because it is basically the Super Bowl of boxing. And yet, our store doesn't see fit, or any store, and I'm sure my store is not the only one, but it seems no store, I should say, out there sees fit to make sure that all the bases are covered. I guarantee you as I speak, there are stores in all of the state, all of the country, that are lacking behind right now. They are lacking on staff right now. They're disorganized because they weren't ready. You see, these stores, they need to wake up. They need to realize, okay, this is a big time fight. This was a big time fight scheduled. What do we do? Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Let's make sure we're fully staffed. If somebody calls in and says, oh, I'm sick, you know what I used to learn in fast food? I learned that managers catch on. And sooner or later, store managers, CSMs, assistants, departments, all the managers in any store around, they need to start catching on. They need to realize that if you are going to call in sick, if your person's going to call in sick, you better make sure they're sick. You better study and make sure you know the signs. You better make sure you know the patterns. You better make sure you know every single thing. So that when they say, well, I'm sick, you can just tell them, yeah, right. If you're sick, then why were you all healthy last night? Or why were you up and going yesterday? How could you be sick overnight? Get them to a point where they're like, okay, I'll come in. See, the point is, stores need to focus, they need to get organized, they need to take focus groups, they need to research, they need to understand that if you're going to make sure these days go by smooth, make sure you have the proper plan. Make sure everything's staffed out. Make sure everything's planned out. Make sure you don't mess up. You gotta make sure all your bases are covered. Even if you have a great cause going on at a local high school like Relay for Life, a great cause, no doubt about it. A great cause, undying respect for it. But even if you know that's going to happen and part of your staff's going to be there, you need to make sure all your bases are covered. And not just for holidays. I understand holidays are a big deal. Well, believe me, they are. Nobody can really get a holiday off at any job unless it's 3-4 months in advance. But the point is, stores need to focus and get organized. They need to research, do focal groups. They need to basically pinpoint the times, the dates that they're going to truly be needed to be fully staffed no matter what. And they need to catch on to those that are going to call in sick and say, oh, I don't feel good. They need to catch on to them and say, then why, and ask them the question, then why were you feeling good yesterday? Because believe me, I've tried that stuff before in the past, and it's caught up to me. It caught up to me. And you know what? It's going to catch up to anybody that keeps doing it. My point in this little rant is if you're going, if you know you're going to possibly be busy, you're going to be hammered, you're going to be slammed, and you're in the need to ask people to stay, then you better get your act together. You better start doing focus groups, research, and pinpoint the exact time and places you need to be fully staffed. That's what you need to do. And that's all I'm going to say, folks. I know many people watching this probably will agree with me. You let me all know what you think. Talk to you later.